everyone and welcome. Today I'm gonna be painting a T'au commander in a Vior'la color scheme. You know, the white one, using a GRIMDARK style. Let's go!
As usual, I start by priming the miniature. I'm using grey primer from Vallejo for airbrush. I chose this color because the main color of this miniature is going to be white, and this will help us setting the bases. I like to apply the primer with airbrush because this way I have better control of what I'm doing. After applying the primer, I give it a base of pure white, but only focusing on the upper areas of the miniature. This way we will recreate a natural light coming from above. I'm using white from the Model A range color from Vallejo, but any white is good enough for this part. To end with the lights and shadows, I'm applying some light grey on the recesses and where all the shadows should be, pushing forward the contrast.
Initially I wasn't planning on doing this step, but as I'm not doing any edge highlighting and I wanted to have as much contrast as possible, I finally decided to add some shadows.
Now we get a regular brush and start painting all the black areas of the miniature. You can use any black that you want, I mean, it's just black, there's no mystery on that, but I'm using a bottom black from Citadel. Remember to apply several thin layers in order to have a good coverage of the paint. After applying the black, we now begin to see some color separation on the miniature. Next, we're going to paint the head, and for that we are going to use corn red. This color will look really vibrant because of the white base that we used earlier. To give it more variety, we are going to use Mechanicus Standard Grey over different places of the armor. By now, you might have already noticed that I'm only setting the base colors and not doing anything over them. I like to do it this way because it helps me making a better idea of what the miniature will look like when it's finished. Next, I'm going to use Rhinox hide on the places where the gold will be. If we paint the gold over white directly, it will look pale, so it's better to spend some time doing this for a better final result. Now we paint the gold where we painted a moment ago the brown. I'm using Retributor armor and it looks really warm. Next, we are going to apply some lights on the red, mixing Mephiston red with some medium. The paint has to be really thin. We are going to apply some glazes over the edges and the most upper areas of the head. This will be a subtle effect, but it will help us in the end. Now we are doing the exact same thing with the black, but instead of illuminating it with grey, we are going to add some color to make it more interesting. For this, we are using the fang. Again, we thin it down with some medium and apply it carefully. Next, we are using white to paint all the lenses on the miniature. I'm using Corax white, but you can use any white that you want. Using that same white, we mix it with medium to thin it down a lot. It has to be almost a wash. Then we apply it on the recesses of the black symbols. Just press with the tip and let the paint flow. For a final touch, we are using again Rhinox hide, but instead of a brush we take a little piece of a sponge, dip it into the paint and apply it carefully over the miniature. You have to be really careful with this step, as it's really easy to overdo. Try to focus on the edges and where all the scratches should be in real life. This is a really important step in this style of painting, as it adds some realism and griminess. The exact same thing that we are looking for. Is looking good and we are ready to move on to airbrush again. For the main effect, I'm going to apply to the whole miniature a layer of oil paint that I use mixing brown, red and black. Because of the properties of the oil paint, we'll be able to remove it later, showing the paint below and adding a lot of texture.
And don't worry, I'll make a video for the exact result, eventually.
You have to try to cover the whole miniature because this layer will help us creating texture, ambient and most importantly, shadows. And if you got this far and you're enjoying the video, please hit the like button and subscribe, you are helping me a lot. Once the paint is dry, take a cotton tip, dip it into white spirits and gently brush it over the miniature. With this, you'll see that the oil painted only stays in the recesses, creating shadows and a grimy effect. Try to stroke it in a single direction, as this will create some striking effect that will make the mini look way better. As you can see, now it looks like a total different miniature, much more complex and with a lot of volume. To finish the mini, we paint the lenses with electric blue. Don't worry if you spill it out, this will help it look like it's really shiny.
And this is the last step on painting this miniature. All you have left to do is to base it and to add some matte varnish. Let's see the final result.